my ducks, it's Simon here. Welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. Hope everybody is okay. So, as you know, I've been doing a deck a day of the decks that were sent to me by Cheryl at Oneness Emporium that we showed on Saturday in the live, the new Spotlight series. However, today I'm going to take a break from that to show you something else that I'm really excited about. So, if you were in the live on Saturday, you would have heard Cheryl say that moments after she posted the decks off to me, a new deck came, which is sod's law, isn't it? But actually, I think in hindsight, that worked out okay because we had eight decks to show, and you know, we just had enough time to fit that in. So this has arrived today, this deck. And yeah, you'll know what it is from the title anyway. Let me just open up and take out the gorgeous bits and bobs. Then you'll see here that we're going to be looking at The Fool's New Journey by John Matthews, and the artwork is by Charles Newington. I think Charles Newington is the author behind the Goblin Market Tarot. Yeah, and Cheryl's showing me a few cards. I've only seen a couple of cards because even if you look this deck up online, there's very limited information about it. But again, lovely bookmark, and we get the little envelope with some goodies in. Oops, throwing things about. I'm actually going to put this on my altar tonight because this is, we're not far away now from Beltane. And I'm starting to move away from Ostara into Beltane frame of mind, even though the weather is appalling in the UK at the minute. But there's this lovely poem here about Beltane, so that's going to go on my altar. And then we have, oh, look at that hermit, blue frog. I don't know what decks, I know what this one is. This is the Rebel Witch, the Ace of Swords. And then we've got a couple of others. Look at that. Cloud babies, children and ideas waiting to be born. That's cute. And then we've got King of Air, which is the humpback whale. So they make excellent little bookmarks and things like that. So, The Fool's New Journey. Why am I so excited for this deck? I think this is going to be a deck that will really divide people. I think people are either going to love it or they're not going to like it. I'm open to new systems. You know, I've got decks like Dreams of Gaia and things like that. I'm open to new systems if I can connect with it. And I've just got a feeling that this one, viewed through a different lens, I will be able to connect with it. So, John Matthews, I watched an interview he did actually about this deck with Crystal Manara, who's the director of Red Feather, who this deck is published by. And it was really interesting. If I remember, I'll link that interview below. But John Matthews is so well known within our community, and I've never realised he's got 110 titles out there. He's an authority on Arthurian legend, Druidry, and yeah, you will know John Matthews, I'm sure, if you've spent any amount of time within the tarot community, or indeed looking into books of Celtic mythology and Druidry. So he's thought about this new journey. So you'll probably remember or have heard back in, I think it was either the 60s, no, I think it was the 50s, 1950s, Eden Gray wrote a book called The Fool's Journey. And it was the first time that it ever kind of appeared in print, the concept of the Fool journeying through the major arcana. And John Matthews, around the time of COVID, realised that our world was, well, changing, but actually our world had changed and it would never be the same again. And then sort of mused over the thought that actually, you know, if the world has changed and shifted in the way that it has, does the tarot need to evolve as well for that new world? And when you think about how much the world has changed since the beginnings of the tarot, centuries ago, maybe then we need a new tarot for our new world with archetypes that reflect the world today. As you know, it's not the first time that the tarot has evolved. You know, at the turn of the previous century before this one, in the early 1900s with the Golden Dawn, you know, the tarot changed. It still had the same structure, but there was lots of esoteric symbolism and things like that added to the tarot. So what's new about this? It's 60 triumphs for a new dawn. So instead of having 78 cards, you know, 22 major, 56 minor, the minor suits have gone, and so have the courts. The major arcana is still completely intact in this deck, but there are other cards that have been added into it. So it's a majors only deck for those people who really like majors only decks, but it's 60 cards. I love this packaging, by the way. This is really nice. So it's got the Fool's New Journey Tarot on the side, Matthews and Newington. It's got this sleeve that slides over with this cutout of the Fool here. It's got the clouds, and I really like it. And the imagery, John Matthews was really keen, and I think the instruction that was given to Charles was that he wanted very clear and clear and simple images that gives you that intuitive hit that helps you to, you know, without being overlaid with lots of symbolism, just having these nice, clear images. I'm just trying to, we'll take that off and then I'll read. I don't know why I could have read it first, really, but is it sealed? No, it's not sealed on. It's beautiful. Packaging is really nice. Just need to slide it off to be able to open the box. It's a little bit stiff at first, but it soon loosens up. Let's do top and bottom, that'll be easier. So I'll just pop that one aside. Here on the top, it says, in 2020, the world changed. The arrival of a worldwide pandemic ensured it would never quite be the same again. In the same way, facing new issues at every level of life, it is time for tarot to change. The Fool must begin a new journey. I like that yellow behind as well. So on the back, it says, since the origin of tarot in the 15th century, decks have remained largely unchanged. At the height of the global pandemic, tarot expert John Matthews began to consider if the tarot archetypes were really set in stone. The Fool's New Journey Tarot, a 60-card deck, represents recognizable aspects of the human condition without losing the deeper resonance of the traditional 78-card deck. The art, too, is very different from that of earlier times, simpler, more direct, and more personal than the antique style of Renaissance art, which does not always speak to us as we need when seeking answers to modern issues. I'm going to love this. A new look tarot emerges here, stripped of much of the ancient symbology and resetting the style and purpose of the deck back to zero. And John was saying in that interview, John, like is my friend, but he was saying in that interview that I think the working title of this was the Reset Tarot, or something about resetting. And Kathleen, his wife, said, Well, actually, this is the Fool's New Journey. And he said, that's it, that's the title. And then taking it to places it has never been before. With beautiful new art, the Fool's New Journey takes us through new dimensions and by new roads. So, I'm itching to have a look, and I'm really itching to have a read of the book at some point as well. So I love this. I hope this is showing on camera. It's beautiful, cloudy sky. If I look at our Fool here, it's very simple, very elegant. It's a clamshell magnetic closure box, very sturdy. Opens up here, we've got this two-tone yellow checkered effect. Here's the book, The Fool's New Journey. Let's make sure I can get that out. Oh, it's a chunky book, wonderful. And there's, I don't know if you can quite, if the camera's picking that up, there's a highlighted section here, and that's purposeful, because this bit talks you through the story, okay, the Fool's story. So that's really interesting to highlight that, so you can just flick to that if you wanted to. The rest of the book is that obviously the cards' meanings and write up about the card. But I like this idea of highlighting the pages just so we can go here and then start reading part 2, the Fool's Journey. And then after the highlighted section, we then go working with the new Fool's Journey tarot. And it tells you things like spreads and stuff like that. So the book is 147 pages. It's a nice chunky book. Now, the cards themselves, they are within a box, within an outer box, so we can get a nice chunky book in there. They're deliberately smaller. I think they're bridge size or playing card size. But that is done deliberately because if we're talking about a journey, John Matthews was saying that actually, you know, you can take this, you can pop this in your bag, you put in your pocket, your rucksack, as you go on your journey as well. So it was designed to be portable for us to take with us in places. And I really liked that aspect. Yeah, so that we can take it for travel on our own journey. Let me just have a sip of my tea. So on the back here it said, the Fool represents the soul of every man, which, after it is clothed in a body, appears on earth and goes through the life experiences depicted in the 21 cards of the major arcana, sometimes thought of as archetypes of the subconscious. Let each reader use his imagination and find here his own map of the soul's quest, for these are symbols that are deep within each one of us. And that's Eden Gray, The Complete Guide to the Tarot. So this is tuck box, this little box that you get. And again, you know, if you just wanted, you know, to stack this on a shelf, you could, to save space. So I quite like that. Loving the backs. Oh dear, I'm gonna love this. I'm gonna bring the camera down and we'll turn that over just so we've got a more neutral background. Just to give you a size comparison before I do that, they're not too bad really. They're about the same width, just a tiny fraction wider than a standard tarot, and yay short. So it's quite a nice size card, so not too small. A lot of people prefer smaller cards anyway, particularly if they have smaller hands. So that's quite nice. All right, let's bring the camera down and let's have a look at the Fool's New Journey Tarot. Okay, so I'm hoping that's nice, nice and clear. So yeah, I just wanted to add in, because I'm not sure if I kind of explained it that well, but in terms of why the suits are removed, is if you think about where the suits came from, they came out of playing cards, you know, obviously with the hearts, spades, clubs and diamonds. We then have the cups, swords, wands and pentacles or coins. And actually, you know, this deck is, instead of having to decipher how many swords is that, what does that number of swords mean, what does that element associate it with, these are the 60 cards that are relevant to today. So you will see cards like, let's just open one up. We've got chaos. You know, we all experience that chaos, don't we? As well as having the original majors in there, as I said, the merry, the observer. So I really like that. Okay, so the idea of the deck is that all 60 cards are major cards. They're 60 triumphs, and they are relevant for a new modern world that we've come into since 2020. The tarot evolving for a new century, a new millennia. So here we have our Fool, and again, very much in keeping with the style and design. I love the clouds are part of it. There is a cloud up here. We don't have the dog, we don't have the flower, but we see that leap of faith. You know, that's starting out, that sense of awe and wonder, and, you know, being carefree and taking a leap, taking a chance. So yeah, I love that. Cardstock is really nice as well. I just need to say that. Really, as you can see, really nice cardstock. It's like playing cardstock. It's got a nice silky sheen. It's not glossy, it's just a nice matte silky sheen. This is the back, and as you can see, it is reversible. If you do enjoy reading reversals. So yeah, our Fool. Then we have the Maze. And when I was talking to Cheryl at the weekend, she was saying the way that she looked at this is there are cards in between the major arcana, but not in every case. So I think you do have the Empress and the Emperor together. But, you know, the Fool taking that journey through the major arcana, but the steps in between. And I quite like that. You know, if we're going to stretch out a major arcana to 60 cards, what does come between the Fool going on his journey, and once he's took that leap of faith, then we find him here in this maze, because then you've got to traverse the terrain. You've got to find your way forward, haven't you, once you've took that initial step. So I like the maze. And again, this, I'm just going on, because this is a new system, I don't know it, I'm just going on what I'm picking up intuitively. I'll probably know a lot more once I've read the book, but for now it's just that initial sort of thoughts on the deck. Then we have the Believer, having that faith, and if we really believe in something, reminds me of the Paulo Coelho quote from The Alchemist, where he says, if you want something with all your heart, the entire universe conspires to make it happen. And then we have the Shadow. We have to confront the shadow, don't we? And again, do you see what I mean about the very simple imagery that we get here? There's nothing overcomplicated, which I think sometimes when deck creators tend to break away from the traditional tarot structure, it can be very complicated, and a lot of people therefore don't buy into it because it takes a lot of effort. And I'm not going to say this deck isn't going to take effort, but I think reading the book, but looking at the cards as a story, makes that a lot easier. And then we move to our Magician, and as you can see here, it's a Magician with the 3 cups and, you know, moving them around. We've got these 4 arms, we've got a dove and playing cards here. Got his top hat and his, yeah. Then we have the priestess, rather than the high priestess, we have the priestess. Again, we've got the crescent moons, the phases of the moons, waxing, full moon, waning, etc. We have tradition, which is interesting. That then we go to the emperor. The empress are together as, oh, actually that came up before that, didn't it? Yeah, that was the wrong way around, but it's just the way it was ordered in the deck. But you can see it's number 7, key 7. We have our empress and our emperor. Then we go to the Hierophant. So we've got the tradition, we've got the structure of an empress and emperor, and then we have our high priest, the Hierophant. Love the kind of meditation pose. Wonder, look at that, isn't that beautiful? In the hand, we've got the Fool here. And that look of wonder. Beauty. We have our lovers. I love the fact as well we can kind of overlay what the lovers mean to us. It's very stripped back, it's very basic imagery for us to be able to do that. I was also going to mention, I know I will get comments from people saying, I think I'll use this as an oracle, and that's fine. The tarot is an oracle at the end of the day. But for me, it's a tarot. The 22 majors are there. It's just a new system. And I think every time there is a new system and people aren't quite sure, they might say, I'm going to use it as an oracle. And it amuses me because I think, well, the tarot is an oracle. So I'm not sure exactly what we mean by that. And maybe if it's, oh, we've got the Wasteland, I love this. Then we have our Chariot. You know, if by that we're talking about spreads and how you read cards with tarot, there are spreads in the book. But again, in the interview that John Matthews did with Crystal Manara, I really liked when he talked about actually the best way to read this in terms of a spread. Instead of saying this card in this position means this card in this position means that, he talked about just lay down 3 or 4 cards and read your story, because this is your journey, you know, and we'll each read those 4 cards different to the person next to us, because we're seeing our story in there. There's Justice, we've got the scales for the eyes, that's clever. The Prisoner. Then we have the Hanged Man. The Escape. So do you see how this is kind of flowing? The Hierophant. And this is a crystal ball, a scrying glass. Here we have a female hermit. Did I say the Hierophant? I often do that, you know. I often call the Hierophant the hermit and the hermit the Hierophant. The hermit. Yeah, we've got a female hermit and a crystal ball. The Sleep. The Dreamer. I love the interconnectedness between each card, each step. Strength. The Fisherman. Do you need to look up I mean, you need a lot of strength to pull in those nets, but I need to look up some of these. The teacher. We have the worker. The wheel of fortune. So as you can see, we're getting towards that halfway point now. We're at 26, so the halfway point will be 30. And of course, the wheel of fortune is coming up to that halfway point anyway in the traditional deck. We have chaos, and that really does look chaotic, doesn't it? Death, I love this. It looks very magician-y with his top hat, but I love these doorways. This person here is kind of warding him off, stay back, you know. But there's different doorways to go through for that transitional stage. Then we have the sorrowful. And then the tower. The downfall. So we don't see anybody falling from the tower. We go into the downfall. The devil. Interesting that in this deck, the tower comes before the devil, and the downfall leads to the devil. The questioner. Wouldn't that be cool to use as a significator card as well, if you had a particular question? Hope. Beautiful. Forgetting. Remembering. Look at the difference there. I love the phoenix here with remembering. I'm going to so enjoy this. We have the merry. Temperance. Yes, there is a reordering as well. Even though the major arcana is in here, there is a reordering. But does that really matter when you shuffle the deck and lay down your cards anyway? The diviner. Truth. The clown. No, not everybody likes clowns. I do. I used to collect them in my youth. The moon. The sun. We do have the naked baby on the horse. The star. Again, reordered. Nature. I love this. Look at this face in the leaf. And I think, yes, what did he say? Yeah, John Matthews spoke about this on the interview, and he was saying that the face represents a connection between us and nature. Whoops, dropping them. And I really like that, the interconnectedness. The lost. We sometimes get lost on our journey. Judgment. The listeners. History. Look how this goes back through the generations. The observer. The third eye there, look. The ocean. The road. Wisdom. Love this. fear, the past. Wow, yeah, look at that. The past is behind you. The future. Healing. The world. And then eternity. I really like that. After the world is the everything, you know, eternity. And we have this kind of figure of 8, the infinity symbol. Oh, wow. I really, really love this. I can't wait to do readings with it. I'm just going to lift the camera up a little bit. Just give me a bit of room. Okay. So, shuffles like a dream, particularly because of the size of the cards as well. But the cardstock is glorious. It really is. Lovely cardstock. You just slide and oops. I'm not a riffle shuffler, as you know, but give this a bit of a shuffle. That one. We have the Emperor. The Lovers. So far, 2 traditional cards. Judgment. And the World. 4 cards from the traditional, but yeah, that's the tarot. So I'm pulling the 4 majors. I mean, in terms of, I didn't really have a question, just kind of what I need to know now, what I need to focus on, and reading this as a story, which is kind of what one of the intentions of the deck is. In its very simple layout here, the Emperor, if that's me, you know, that's about having that, and I do feel at the minute that I've got a great deal of stability. I have strong convictions, I am organised, I am a leader in terms of what I do for a career and things like that. But having that sort of authority over my own life as well, and in terms of having that sort of continued stability, there needs to be some sort of unity as well. And the Lovers card, which is my life path card, isn't necessarily about, you know, actual lovers. It's about our relationships. So having that stability, that unity within those that are closest around me, without fear of judgment. Maybe it's about self-assessment before making decisions, and making sure that those decisions that I make are coming from a sound place, a good place, having gone through that sort of self-analysis and self-assessment, to be able to have that success in the aspects of my life that I need to have. The World card is about attainment, isn't it? So to be able to get that sort of sense of attainment and completion, it's looking at the stability of my world at the moment, my life at the moment, having convictions and that sort of unity, as I said, within my relationships. And then, you know, not fearing judgment, but to be able to not fear judgment requires me to do that self-assessment as well, and to know my true self, to be able to have that outcome, that success. That's just how I would look at these cards. Everybody else would look at them differently. I do like the questioning card that was in here as well. If I can quickly find it, because when I use clarifier cards, not clarifier cards, sorry. Oh, sorry, I'm having brain freeze. When I use that sort of significator card, I look at what comes before and what comes afterwards. So what can help and what can hinder. So again, you know, we've got the Hierophant here, the what's come before the questioner. And the Hierophant, you know, for me, it's about, not about necessarily about dogma, but about having that sort of, especially when we see the Hierophant here as a kind of somebody who is in touch with his own reservoir of knowledge. You know, somebody who's their own guru, someone who's spiritually aware, yes, can impart knowledge to others. We used to see in the Hierophant with the supplicants in front, but that could help me having that sort of sense of calm, sense of peace, going in and you know, digging into that well of knowledge that's within us. What could hinder a downfall? What would be my downfall? And again, this, I haven't asked a question, I'm just kind of illustrating. If I was asking a particular question and I'm using the question card, what will help, what will hinder? So again, I'd have to consider what could be the downfalls to whatever it is that I'm inquiring about, and what I would perhaps need to look out for. So there's multiple ways to work with this deck, and I'm really excited to work with it. I need to get a little bag or something for this, and I can't wait for the weekend. I have to sit in on Saturday for a passport to be delivered, but also a washing machine, which is coming anywhere between 7 AM and 5 PM. So I've got some reading to do, particularly the highlighted section there of the writing about the Fool's new journey through the tarot. Let me know your thoughts. I know, like I said, it's not going to be for everybody. Some people, and I'm a traditionalist, but it doesn't mean I'm going to substitute working with the tarot in favour of just working exclusively with this deck. But this, I think, is an important deck for our time, and it's one that, you know, will aid me in my practice with the tarot and my studies with the tarot. Let me know your thoughts. I'd be really interested if you leave some comments below. I will also put a link to the Oneness Emporium, where this has been sent from very kindly by Cheryl. Again, if you want to buy this deck or anything from Oneness Emporium that's not on sale, then use the code HERMITS10 and there's a further discount of 10%. Thanks for watching, everybody, and until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.